Hey, and welcome to another episode of Main Contain Fishing Podcast and on the Paddle and Fin Network, as always. Make sure you like, subscribe to everything, Paddle and Fin, SEGKBF. So we've got an exciting show for you tonight with Matt Johnson. He's currently in the green room. We're going to bring him on and kind of introduce him to the world of Southeast Georgia kayak bass fishing and to all the listeners out there and watchers on the Paddle and Fin Network. So let's get this thing kicked off. Welcome to the show, Matt.
And appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And I can tell my listeners and my viewers out there how we met. We met at ICAST. Matt was behind me in the food line. We were getting some food for lunch, and I kind of turned around and I saw his name tag. I said, Omnia Fishing. I said, man, I need to talk to that guy a little bit. So I handed him a business. Hey, and I introduced myself to you, and we kind of exchanged words, business cards, and we just kept in contact after ICAST, and finally got you on the show to talk about Omnia Fishing. And so I'm going to let you kick it off, Matt, for my viewers and my listeners, and kind of explain who you are, how the company got started, and things like that. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, that's a funny interaction from ICAST. It's those are the things that can't happen if you don't do some things in person. So it was just happened to run into some people. So I appreciate you turning around.
Oh yeah.
Well,
sure.
yeah. So I go all the way back. I'm a military brat, raised most of my life in northern Wisconsin, chasing all kinds of species, multi-species, angler, hunter, angler all my life. I ended up in Minnesota, and one of my good buddies was working on a concept, and he said, I have this idea. All this information is falling off your screen on your depth finder. There's got to be a way to harness all that information. This was 2009, kind of a long time ago, 2010. So we came up with this idea to create mapping out of it, kind of auto mapping where you are, create all kinds of different layers. We created a company called Contour Innovations in 2010. And so we started processing sonar data from depth finders and really got a lot of traction mapping lakes, allowing people to map lakes for invasive plants and things, monitor how things are changing in lakes. And company took off. We ultimately sold the company in 2014 to Lowrance. It became part of their live mapping capability. It became social map. If you've ever mapped vegetation or bottom hardness using your Lowrance unit. And the technology is still around. It was a really cool project. And after we sold the company, my job was horrible. I had to travel around the world and teach people how to use this technology. So I got to fish everywhere, all over the world. It was fantastic. I'm kidding. It was fantastic. And actually, that was the first time, even be a lifetime angler, hunter. It was the really first time I had some experience learning how the industry worked a little bit. And kind of long story short, one of my frustrations grew around how big the industry is and how disparate and fragmented the information was. A lot of people are still going in store and they're asking questions, especially that kind of middle skilled angler, still going in store and asking a lot of questions like, what should I be using? Fill up my cart for me. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I had already done some mapping stuff. And I said, what if we took all kinds of information, how deep, what kind of species are there, how it fishes during different parts of the season, depending on where it is in the country, and start putting tackle recommendations, build an e-commerce company around this idea of trying to help people the same way they might go in store asking for information. So we created a concept called Shop by Lake and launched it in 2019. I left Lowrance 2018, launched it in 2019, and it became Omnia Fishing. And so the whole idea was that we wanted to put a pin on every single lake and start gathering information about how that lake fishes and start being a really powerful tackle retailer to try and get people the right gear so they can head to the water with a lot of confidence. And so that's been about, I tell everyone I've accidentally spent 14 years of my life in the fishing industry. It's been a long journey, but Omnia's been around quite a while now, and we've grown so much. One of the cool things that we did is we started allowing people to file fishing reports. I think you've even done it before.
Yeah.
File fishing reports on the platform and indicate what bait's working. So you don't drop a pin on exact location. You say what lake and what species, what were you using, and what technique. And we found that people were really drawn to that. So much so that we started giving people tackle credits for their next purchases if they help influence other people that were looking for help. And that system has worked really well. We've got, like 35,000 fishing reports filed across the country. It's what continues to inform our system and make the system smarter so we can give really good tackle recommendations. And what we found is that people were coming into the system all the time, reading fishing reports, even more than they were just coming into shop. And so in last year, we launched a service called Omnia Pro. It's an elevated Omnia shopping experience. And it's a subscription service that includes navionics maps, all kinds of different layers, waypoint management, weather, real-time lightning strikes, safety features, things like that. And it allowed me to get back into the mapping world, and it has just exploded and taken off. And it's really what's drawing a lot of new people into the Omnia platform that are also doing the shopping with us. So we've had a real good time with it. We're really trying to create something that's good for the industry, and so far that's gone real well.
Yeah. So Matt, to kind of piggyback on what you said, I use the free app now, and I've got to get the mapping layers and everything, because that's just an awesome looking system you got there, and it's right at your fingertip. Everybody's got one of these in their hands all day long, and especially on the water, you're sitting there, and you could read depth finders and fish finders and side imaging, down imaging, whatever. But if you really, you can scroll on your phone right quick. Okay, well, at this point, there's a sandy bottom or a hard bottom, the contour maps on it.
Yeah.
And I really like that feature as a bass fisherman, and because you don't have to sit there scroll through maps on your finder and things like that. So kind of break down, I would say, like, for beginners getting into this app on their phone, and kind of lead them in the direction that they, as far as finding lakes to fish on, finding the information they need. Just kind of break that down for us real quick, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm glad you said you use the free app, because that's a really important piece of this. The app is completely free. All of the fishing reports, all of the shopping features, some of the map layers are actually free. And then there's a waypoint service in there as well. So like that's 100% free. You can access all the lake information and keep that in your back pocket. The layers, the Omnia Pro layer, is $49 a year and includes a free navionics subscription, includes all the layers that you mentioned. And what we did is we tried to say, are there some things that we think are missing from the industry that we want to try to add, build some unique layers? So another cool one that's in there is we have a water temperature and water clarity layer. And so we are pulling satellite data down, we're processing it, and giving as close to real-time water temperature as possible based on when the satellites pass. Because we know that at certain times of the year, that's really what's a big impact on bass patterning and species behavior. And so we know that kind of monitoring how things are changing, or see if different bays are changing temperature faster, it's a really interesting indicator of what's going on in the lake before you get there. And I don't think there's a scenario where we completely own that whole experience. I think the depth finders are always going to be a critical part of the business of the real time, seeing what's under there. And like you know, with forward-facing sonar and the innovations that are happening there, that will always exist. We want to be that e-scouting tool that you're opening up often on the couch, trying to find a new lake that's maybe trending because people are reporting a good catch with a technique that you really like, or people have started to switch to frog in or something like that, as a way to say, maybe I should be thinking about checking out new lakes. And what we find is that the more technology, the more people are talking, scouting, it ends up dispersing the anglers quite a bit. There's more to check out, more places to go. And, we joke about if we have boat launches on there as an example. And if you can see that a little bay is warmer than the other bays, and you can launch from another area and save yourself some gas, that app's going to pay for itself right there. But what's really cool is that anybody that buys the Pro subscription actually gets 10% credit back on all their purchases with us. We've got about 30,000 products, pretty much bass focused at this point. And 10% credit back on any purchase that you make, and free shipping with no minimum. So you see on there that maybe a different green pumpkin spec Fleck is working for a Senko. You can actually buy one bag and we'll ship it to you for free, no shipping. So we try to add a lot of value that ties in our e-commerce as a solidified e-commerce retailer into that pro subscription, even though, like you pointed out, the whole app is free.
Right. So you were saying that, golly, my mind just skipped a beat here. But yeah, I found this app probably about 2 years ago, and I really didn't. I started with it, then I forgot about it until I saw you in line, and then I was like, crap, I need to get back to that.
Yeah.
And what's so good? What I found out about it so good is I fish a lot of smaller bodies of water here in South Georgia, and that are I would say not known to a whole lot of people.
Sure.
And if we can push that information onto Omnia, then I think it gets a lot more people out on the water. And they say, well, if I go this certain time of year, I can look on the Omnia app. Well, Daniel Woodcock caught fish on this day at this time on a lipless crankbait, this color, made by this company, and they can go in there and say, okay, well, it's a one-stop shop app. They can buy the bait from there. They can look on the app, go and try to catch the fish that was caught during that time. And that's what I believe is a help to beginner to kind of intermediate anglers, not so much advanced anglers, because advanced anglers are going to use anything in the world that they already know. They're going to look at maps. They're going to look at Google Maps. They're just going to be pushing a lot of things out that beginning and intermediate anglers not quite have hit that type of world yet. So
I think you bring up a good point. The issue with our industry has been this leaky bucket. Is we do get a lot of new people being dumped in every year, but there's a lot of people falling out the bottom. And our theory is that they're not having a lot of success, or they don't have a lot of confidence. The information's hard to find. There's a lot of articles and things, kind of outdated ways of communicating that just aren't out there. There are apps that have tried to be more social and try to give away spots. I just think that's the wrong approach. And I think there's a place for it. What I really think is important is we have to work together as anglers to educate the how and the why. And so I don't want to say you need a whole bunch of maps. What I need to say is these are how you use specific maps, or here's how you know that a bass moves during certain temperatures, how they relate to structure, or what their feeding source is, and all that information's in the app. And to date, we've served a more elite angler that can break that information down. I think the next phase of our business really is trying to be more welcoming to the anglers that have a lot of questions about the how and the why to use these mapping layers. And when you start to combine them all together, it gets really interesting. And one way I'll point that out is not only is it interesting, like you said, is can we help the fellow angler talk about a specific bait that helped me catch fish? One way we've treated waypoints is very different in that in the app we have wind speeds, wind directions, barometric pressures, whatever you think is actually influencing the fish behavior. And when you drop a waypoint in the app, we automatically associate all those conditions, the air temperature, the moon phase, all of the things that anglers, think about for different reasons. We associate all those things to that waypoint. And then you have the capability to then go in and say, show me everything that I dropped personally to where the barometric pressure was trending up, or the water temperature was 76 degrees or above, or April, everything that I logged in April. And so you're breaking down these water bodies and really starting to understand all these layers and all this data that matters for your being successful on the water. And that's the education thing too, that I think helps kind of pull all this information together, becomes, like you said, a one-stop shop for getting all the right tackle, going in prepared, and doing your e-scouting from the couch.
Yeah. This world is overwhelming with, when I walked in that building down in Orlando, I was like, holy crap. That's the first time I've ever been there. And I was like, what have I stepped into, and
right.
So I think there's a lot of anglers out there, Matt, that are like that, especially young anglers. Everybody wants to catch fish every time they go out, but are you really going to catch fish every time you go out? Probably not unless you're just going to some lake that is just loaded with them and you know how to catch them. But I think if we get the younger younger generation knows how to work a phone better than this older generation. Yeah. And if we can get them using it and inputting the information, it might double, like you said, we're not trying to give away fishing spots, but if somebody came up to me at a boat ramp and said, "Hey, what would you catch them on today?" I'm going to pull it out my bag and say, "Here, cuz here's a bag that, a partial bag, I guess I'm just that type person, but
most people are. You'd be surprised. Most people want to be helpful, but it isn't about spot busting. I think you're saying it right. It's about being helpful to the fellow angler.
Yeah, for sure. And we're gonna get into this app here shortly, and we'll kind of explain the ins and outs of it as we go. But yeah, I think y'all, as Omnia has set it up, I think y'all hit it square on the head, and have put a lot of information into this as far, as lake breakdown, things like that, that y'all have media on there, as well as your blue ambassador. This is kind of what I'm kind of getting into. That you got an ambassador series that you've set up on that app. So let's go into that. I don't want to kind of let you explain it more because you're more familiar with it, but kind of explain to these my listeners and my watchers of how the I guess the silver, the gold, the blue, and all that work.
Yeah. So when we started, we knew that we wanted to organize information, and it always revolving around tackle and strategy, not location. It's where we draw the line. And we built a program. It's a bronze, silver, a gold, and a blue. And when you file your first fishing report, you don't have to sign up for the program. When you file your first fishing report, you're automatically bronze. When you file 5 fishing reports, and you have to look at the site on kind of how this changes. But once you filed a few fishing reports, you move up to that silver level, and that's when you start earning tackle credits based on people filing, when people buy based on your report. So if I click on a similar lake or an area like you, and it might be worth pulling up omniafishing.com and /map. That's one of the cool ways to start seeing some of this. We could drill down into some of your lakes. But one of the cool ways to do this is the fishing reports will start popping up, and we try to make them ever present as part of the shopping experience. And really the whole idea is, as you move up in the ranks from bronze to silver, and then once you filed enough fishing reports, you become a gold ambassador, you start earning $10 every time somebody buys off your fishing report. Our blue ambassadorship is reserved for professional anglers, people that are going to be submitting video. We actually send a video crew to go get information. That's Seth Fighter, Patrick Walters, and those guys. And the goal is to get as many people into that gold level that start earning tackle credits that really incentivizes them to keep sharing information that stays hyper relevant. So it's just about how many times you file. And then we have a full review crew that when your fishing reports get submitted, they actually review it and they give it a rating based on whether or not we think it's accurate or if it's a good picture. And then they can also reject it if it's inappropriate, obviously. And we monitor that really, really closely. Okay. So the whole idea is just to create a system where people can communicate and socialize around tackle.
Gotcha. So I'm fixing to share my screen over here, Matt. We can kind of, we'll have to explain a little bit more for the listeners on Spotify. So here's Lake Sinclair, which is Milledgeville, Georgia, which is the middle of the state here in Georgia. So kind of explain what we're seeing here as far as these gold stars, as far as the blue.
Well, it looks like you've favorited that lake in your account. So that's your area. Yeah. So every single body of water, for the most part, in the United States and a big section of Canada, has its own pin. And that pin, when you click that pin, is actually going to represent that entire lake experience. You can actually go to an entirely unique page for every water body. Lake St. Clair has its own page. And if you see down in that where you just clicked on lakes, you can see that any of the lakes that are within this zone are present in that. Now zoom out, and when you do, you're going to start seeing a lot more lakes included. Now, Lake St. Clair is probably the largest in that area, but now all of a sudden you got one up here to the upper right. What is that one?
Yeah, you got Lake. Yeah, right above the gold star would be Lake Oconee. So they're feeder lakes. They generate power out of them 2 lakes.
Sure.
Over here on Clark's Hill, upper right-hand corner, right here, you have what we call the Savannah River chain lakes. Sure. You got Clark Hill, you got Lake Russell, you got Lake Hartwell as you move up the river. So
you right now you have it on Lake St. Clair. Press that little arrow next to all lakes over in the section up a little bit farther. So now you're going to see a list of all the lakes, all the major lakes that are in this view. And now if you drill into Lake Hartwell, you're going to start seeing some of the smaller lakes pop up because it's trying to give you a representation, just make suggestions to you. So you got Hartwell, Broadway, there's all these little dinky lakes that are just as important, and people have questions about how to fish them. Right. The other thing I'd have you click is that featured reports tab over on the far left, upper left. When you click on that, it's going to give you a representation of recent reports. And as you zoom out or pan around on the map, it's going to constantly change. And so it's always trying to pick a relevant set of fishing reports for you to start drilling down in. And it will take you either to the lake page where you can see all of the reports, or you can click on any one of those reports and it's going to pop up and show you what baits were mentioned. So that last one, just click on the whole report there. So that takes you into the whole Lake Hartwell page. And if you scroll down, you can see all of the top products that have been mentioned in fishing reports recently. And it looks like some frogs and some whopper ploppers, a lot of topwater products have been mentioned. And then you can see the technique that these have been mentioned for, hard jerk baits. And then, really all of these are related to largemouth bass fishing in the summer. They all have a corresponding fishing report. And if you scroll down, you can start seeing the fishing reports that have been filed in Hartwell. We even have some lake breakdown videos talking about tournament breakdowns for specific bodies of water. There's just a lot of information here, and it's a full shoppable video for anybody that's not seeing the demo and listening to it. As you're watching the video play, the baits that they're mentioning are actually going to scroll down and change, and you can drop them right in your cart if you want to from there.
Right. So right here on the right-hand side of this, so while I'm watching this video, I want the Zoom Z Crawl Juniors. I can add that to my cart right from the video.
That's right. Yeah, and then keep scrolling down. You're going to see all the fishing reports that are associated with Lake Hartwell. Okay. And they're organized in relevancy today. And then if you want to see most recent, you can click on those, and it's going to keep sorting. But yeah, it's a big resource. It's always tied back to tackle, and there's a lot of information here.
Gotcha.
The other thing I would suggest is going back out to that map. I love that you mentioned that you fish smaller water bodies. If you just hit the back button, I love that you mentioned fishing smaller water bodies, because as you zoom and pan around, it's going to constantly pull those large water bodies where there's a lot more information coming in. But also, as you zoom in, you're going to start seeing things like, there's Clark's Hill, Lake Oconee, is it there?
Yeah, Oconee.
Yeah. And as you move, you're seeing those reports change. And as you zoom in, now you may get to an area where a lake is so small that there just hasn't been enough activity that nobody's filing a report. But what you can do is you can go to one of those pins. If you click on one of the pins that you're seeing there, a small one, and you go to the lake page, sometimes, as we're kind of doing this live, but sometimes if you view the full lake page, this doesn't even have a name, it's just entitled. Right. Sometimes what we'll do is we will pull fishing reports from nearby water bodies to try and make recommendations that it probably fishes this way. And again, we know the depths, we know the structure, we know the acreage of the water body, and we're going to try and do our best to pull area fishing reports that match and make recommendations so you truly can get a tackle shopping experience for every lake in America. And again, we've only been around a few years. We're doing what we can, but the goal is to really make this the best shopping experience that's very relevant and personalized. Let everybody else drive the way they want to drive.
Right. So let me go to a smaller body of water. Look, I've marked some stuff on a public fishing area down here in Claxton area. Let me and we can kind of see it because I've favored it because I fish there a lot.
Oh, you're about to give away your waypoints.
No, I don't have any waypoints, but we're gonna mark some waypoints on here to kind of show the viewers how to mark the waypoints.
Sounds great.
So
close that little box for featured fishing reports, and I think if you have anything there that you filed, it'll pop up. I don't know if it'll be old enough or not, but click on that fishing.
Yes, there's a fishing report right there from 2021.
All right. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. That's actually
right.
me. And I used a
Looks
drop
like,
shot. Yeah, drop shot, a Z-Man trick shot Z.
From November 21?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing is like we've been programmed to think that a fishing report represents the real-time information of what's happening right now. But I think what's really critically important is these fishing reports become relevant because it's about fish behavior that repeats on a cycle. And not every season is the same. But if I'm a novice angler, looking at 10,000 different baits isn't very helpful to me. But if I can drill and even on a tiny little water body like this, and I can see, well, somebody caught them on a drop shot and they had success with a specific bait. Now I have a starting point. Right. And that's really what Omnia wants to be. We want to start unlocking that for you.
Yeah. So I can tell you with this body of water out here where this star is, there's a big channel that's about 17 foot. So if I'm catching fish and tell me is I can create a waypoint on the app, right? Or
that's right.
Yeah. And so if I mark a fish right there in this lake, I can just drop that pin right there and hit save, and it saves it for next time.
Yep. Now if you go back, you can click edit that waypoint. There's 3 little dots right there. Yep. And then click edit. Now you can zoom in and drag that waypoint where you want it. If you like you can, this is some scouting thing. Yeah. I want to go check out this channel, or, you can change the logo of it, whatever you want to do. That's exactly right.
Okay. And if it was structure, you can mark it as structure. That's right. So there's, and if you really have a hot spot on the lake and you wanted to give it away to a buddy or somebody like that, or, you can mark it with your Omnia logo and it'll be a hot spot.
Now click save and go back to those 3 buttons.
Okay.
And then when you do that, I don't know if under your free account, if you're capable, if you can do this, but you should be able to share it. Yeah, I think it's the new waypoint Ace 8 right on top there. Click those 3 buttons, 3 dots. And it's going to give you a unique URL. And if you send that to me, I can then see exactly where that spot is. But by default, everything's completely private.
Gotcha.
No, we don't share waypoints. Again, that's where we drew the line. We wanted to be tackle focused, not waypoint focused.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because they just happen to have this. Somebody got DQ'd in the recent tournament of the Bassmasters.
Oh, yeah.
And have y'all come up? Let me ask you this: on the pro circuit, when they use this app, are they gaining any information if they're using it during tournament?
That's actually beyond my understanding. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the rules are and if that's unique to all of the different tournament circuits. But keep in mind, waypoints have always been capable of sharing. I can take pictures of my screen and send them to you. Like, there's ways to share waypoints. We haven't really changed anything. We're trying to make it easier. But a lot of what we have been seeing is people have been telling us that the way I use it is I drop a waypoint on a boat ramp. So if you had a pro subscription, we should have done that before for the call. We should have, so that you could pull those up. But if you pull a boat ramp and you drop a pin on it, and then you send it to me and say, "See you at 6:30," now I know what boat ramp we're meeting at, and I think that's the interesting one. I'm not sure if people are doing it with tournament stuff, but I'm sure it happens.
Yeah. So that's being able to go to small. Just because of a lot of people down here in South Georgia, I don't know how the north is. It's because I've never ventured up north to do any kind of smallmouth fishing, walleye fishing, or anything like that. But we have a lot of smaller bodies of water, smaller rivers down here. Sure. Until you get to the bigger lakes, Sinclair, Oconee, Russell, Clarks Hill, stuff like that, kind of middle Georgia up. But yeah, it's a great, just in my opinion, and I can go for my opinion, because you can see how long I've been using this off and on for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to start using a lot more just to get more people on the water, just to get people acclimated with the app. Say, hey, you can find all your information right here, and it's just show them that the information's there and what they can catch fish on certain parts of the time of the year. And if they want to go to the Pro Series for $49 a year, I don't think that's not a bad, because you're getting real time water temperatures,
Yep.
Water clarity. Now, how are y'all doing that? Are y'all gathering that information off of Navionics or through weather apps? And
yeah, no, we do source weather through a partner. We have like storm cells as an example. So if there's a storm in the air, you can actually see the direction that the storm is heading for safety. Real-time lightning strikes, which is really critical when you're on the water.
Right.
We source all that information. The water temp and water clarity is something we actually processing satellite data that we're able to pull down. We run it through an algorithm. It tells us what the values are, and then we map it. And the only thing that really interferes with our ability to do that is cloud cover. And so sometimes you miss the cycle when the satellite passes over, but otherwise we process that in real time as often as we can. Sometimes there's a couple day lag, but that is a completely proprietary layer that only we offer, and that's made available in that Pro subscription.
Right. Let me bring that screen back up here. So if you look down to the bottom left, for all you viewers, all my listeners, we have what they call the real-time average water temperature. It's coming soon. The high-resolution historical water temps on the Pro app, the water clarity is on the Pro app, and the wind.
That's right.
And
if you click the layers tab right on the left side,
yeah,
that'll show you everything that's in there. And actually, boat landings is free, so turn that on. You'll see all the boat landings. Yep, that's nationwide. All of your waypoints, that's free. Now, the patterning where we associate the water temps and all those details is only available for Pro members. But if you scroll down through all of those layers, you'll see Navionics, social contours. Those social contours are people that are uploading their Lowrance log files, and it's all getting combined to create better maps. But it's only available in areas where people have uploaded data. It's a really cool program from CMAP, owned by Lowrance. There's a social vegetation layer, a social bottom hardness layer. There's the water temp, like you mentioned, the water clarity. And then here's all the weather and safety layers. You get wind. So you've probably seen the barbs and the wind speed.
Yeah.
There's radar. There's storm cells that'll show you directionally, lightning and air temperature. And then kind of lastly, if you click on the app, you'll be able to see barometric pressure, moon phase, all of those details also all included as part of the Pro package for all that e-scouting you want to do on the couch.
Right. So let's kind of break down some of these maps that y'all got. As far as the Navionics, if people are not familiar with Navionics, it's a contour map. It shows the contour of the body of water. Most of your units out here nowadays, you can map your own bodies of water. If you have a private lake, you can map them and save it into your unit or on a card. Yeah. You can upload them from your lake maps that you buy on a card, things like that. So say if I created a contour map of this public fishing area, is there some way that you can send y'all the contour or no?
No, not right now, unless you're a Lowrance user. And then I would highly encourage you to participate in their social map program. That's right. CMAP. But you can upload your sonar logs. They'll process the information for bottom, top of plant, and bottom hardness. And like people that are reading their electronics, a lot of times when you see the double echo on your chart,
yeah,
you know that's a really hard rock substrate. The sound's going down, bouncing up and down, bouncing back down, and you see that double echo means that you've got a real hard bottom. Well, Lowrance CMAP, that social map has the capability to plot all that out, and then you'll see really hard substrate and really soft substrate. So depending on how bass are reacting that time of year, that can help you predict some areas that you might want to go check out. Again, dispersing the anglers to go check out some other areas. Hard spots for pitting crayfish and soft mucky spots for spawn. And, it becomes a really interesting way to break down a lake.
Yeah. And as far as the media goes on the app or on the website as well, when you're watching the videos, and these your pros like Seth and Patrick are talking about lake breakdown, and I know Patrick's from South Carolina. Seth is from up around y'all, right?
Yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yep.
Minnesota area. So they fish a lot of body water because they fish they fish the Elite Series and things like that. So them two guys mostly are getting all this information into y'all, so y'all can input it out to get it out to the consumer itself, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we make a couple videos a day that are tackle reviews, rod bending videos. I'd encourage everybody that follows you to also follow Omnia Fishing on YouTube or our social channels.
Right.
We're constantly doing, our three main sponsored anglers are Seth, Patrick, and Bob Downey. And as they're traveling throughout the country, they're breaking down waters as they're doing their reviews of how things are going and how they're planning to execute. They're building full videos talking about all that stuff, and that gets then posted, like you saw on those lake pages, where it lives forever. It's a useful resource to be able to run into that information when you're doing your planning.
Right. So if somebody, let me ask you another question, Matt. Say I've got an account built on here, and somebody who's looking to come down here to fish Southeast Georgia, right?
Right.
Is there a way for them to contact me through the app? Like an email address, like on your profile, or?
Not right now, but I like that idea. And people have actually talked to us about, is there a way that you could help anglers kind of meet each other or find ways to go fishing with other people? But It's not currently available. If people in the comments on this respond that they think that's something that would be useful, it's something we could definitely look at.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of just brainstorming before we got on to the podcast here. Is like, what if somebody wanted to come fishing, or if I want to go fishing up in New York,
right?
And what I would have to go in here and look, see, okay, who's in here from New York, and now I got to find them on social media to go find them and message them, and
I like that idea. I love that you kind of take social to another level.
Right.
But yeah, we'd be open to that for sure.
Okay. Yeah, man. Hey, we've got a few questions here, and I kind of want to throw them out to you to kind of see what your thoughts are. Sure. Tim Williams, he said, will y'all do saltwater later?
Great question. Bass fishing's huge, and we think we got a lot of growing to do. But most of the things that we are looking at now we are trying to invest in new layers that we think are region specific. And bass gives us the ability to be a national company because bass fishing is all over Canada and the United States. We've looked at things like the TVA has very specific layers and information that they want to see in real time. And they can maybe access online. We want to pull it all the app and make it easy to get access to. I think our model translates really well to salt. It's a whole nother product expansion that we're probably not ready for in our e-commerce side of our business. But we are certainly taking a good solid look at it, and we think that it's a good angler that crosses over with bass really commonly in some of the southeast Florida, Texas, that fishes salt and bass, and we want to be able to support those customers with meaningful layers. So I don't know that the e-commerce will get there soon, but I think you could probably expect some new layers expanded into salt coming pretty soon.
Gotcha. So another question, John Wilson. He asked, he was referring to all this stuff that we've been talking about on the free version. The only thing that's not available on the free version are all your charts, your hardness.
So the Navionics subscription, the vegetation bottom hardness, and the weather details are not included. The clarity and water temp. All of the fishing reports, all the shopping, all of the information on the individual lakes, all the waypoint management, boat launches, all of that is included in the free version. The version that when you download the app is just a little bit different, like we were just showing on the map there. Right. It's just a little bit different, but all that information is available. And actually a little bit more is available in the app with some of the lake pages. So I'd encourage you to check out all the free stuff that's available there. All of the fishing reports we just showed, 100% available in the app.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna bring up the main page of Omnia right quick and kind of show people what you have to offer on your homepage and how it's set up when they set up a free account and things like that. Yeah. Y'all have excellent deals going on right now. Mid-strolling is among us with forward-facing sonar people. 20% off. If you need some mid-strolling techniques, it's a hot technique right now.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and y'all have some great giveaways. Y'all have Rig Your Kayak out giveaway going on. It looks like y'all going to give away some pretty good products in that.
There's a whole bunch in that one. That's right.
Yeah, and just some kind of what kind of new stuff y'all got coming to your store, things like that. And
that's right.
Yeah, and so
So that whole top bar up there is really what's going to drive everything. You've got all your baits, shopping, all of by category, all your baits. And then there's some details about what Pro is. And then if you see over on Explorer, that's where you get to the map version. You can even go by state. So if you just wanted to click in and just look at Georgia, you're going to start seeing baits. You're going to start seeing all kinds of stuff that's very specific and trending in real time for these lakes. And you can favorite them. If you favorite them, you'll start getting emails when new fishing reports are filed. So it helps you kind of keep up to date on this stuff in real time. And then if you scroll down, you're going to start seeing top rated techniques based on fishing reports. You're going to see all kinds of product recommendations that are all based on some of those top techniques. And those are all things that have been mentioned in the state of Georgia, try to make it as relevant as possible. So you can shop by lake, or you can drill up a level and shop by state.
Right.
Or if you know what you're looking for, you just go right into the category. I want to buy some stick baits. You just go right in.
Right. So yeah, it's let me tell you, man, just y'all have put a lot of work into this, and just by looking at it and getting the word out for y'all, I think there's a lot of anglers out here that didn't y'all existed.
Yeah.
Just got a few more questions. Sure. John Wilson asked again, are rivers maps for rivers included?
You know, major rivers that have largemouth and smallmouth bass do have maps. And think Mississippi rivers, the rivers, the major rivers, and how you define that, if the impoundments and stuff that you guys find in the Southeast, absolutely mapped. Navionics has really extensive mapping, so that is available. And then if it's a major water body that's pretty wide, we'll even have water temperature for it. So like all of the pools in the upper Midwest would have for the Mississippi are mapped. There is a 7-day free trial that if you click in, download the app and click start trial, you'll be able to go in and make sure that your water bodies are mapped before you subscribe. So I'd highly encourage everybody to check that out. No commitment, and you cancel before the subscription comes around, and you can make sure that the rivers are included. But no trout information, no details like that right now. Again, we're pretty bass focused, so it has to be pretty navigable. No streams.
Gotcha. Here's another one from Larry Bug. He said this has been helpful, wondering about this app for a while now. Larry, I can tell you, and Matt can tell you too, go download it. Download it straight to your Apple, Google Play. Works smoothly on my Apple phone. I've never had it crash or anything like that. So
yeah.
Scott said that he's had great experience shopping with y'all. Just
appreciate that. It's so good to hear those things. We hear such good stuff about speed of shipping, and we report that stuff all to the guys in the warehouse. There's a big team back there, and they love hearing it because they work hard and really appreciate that.
Right. So, Matt, before we get off this thing, anything that you want to add, or I want you to shoot out the socials for Omnia. That way everybody can go like, subscribe, and go watch some stuff on YouTube, man. They got some great information on YouTube.
Yeah, I appreciate having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk about it. It is a sales pitch, but I promise we're attempting to do the right thing to make the industry a better place. All of our socials, Instagram, YouTube. I think we even have a TikTok. I'm not a TikToker. I'm too old. All Omnia Fishing, and so please check those things out and subscribe. We try and push out as much information as we can. We try to make as helpful as possible. Lots more information coming on the how and the why, how to use the pro layers, how to use those to break down to head to the water more prepared, do that e-scouting. If anybody is interested in subscribing to Pro from this link, please reach out to me. So I'm going to give my email address away for free. It might be dangerous, but it's just matt@omniafishing.com. And let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to walk you through anything. And we are looking for testers right now. So if somebody wants to subscribe to the app, I'll offer you a gift card to circle back and let me watch you use the app. And so I can see you click around. I can see whether or not you find the buttons in the right place. And that helps us make the app better and better. And in this early phase, because this app is pretty new, that is just worth so much to us to be able to watch people do it. And I'd be absolutely happy to engage with any customer that you have to just get an opportunity to watch you use it and give me feedback so that we can continue to feed that back over to our technical team.
Oh, certainly. Hey, and once again, I can't thank you enough for introducing yourself in the lunch line that day. I know we've been emailing back and forth a lot, just because you're busy, I'm busy. You know, I work a full-time job in law enforcement, so I do this stuff on my days off. But yeah, we're glad that you joined us. If you can stick around, we're fixing to do a giveaway here shortly on a YAKROD. That's who actually I went to ICAST with, and Tandy and that group. They were on 2 weeks ago, and she said, I'll do a giveaway on a YAKROD. So, so we're going to do a giveaway here shortly. But Matt, I think, you know, if we can get the word out about Omnia, I think you'll be able to get a lot of information back from the anglers that are using the app, and just getting that lake information, or that small lake, pond, whatever information, and out to anglers for them to one-stop shop.
That's right.
You know, I can buy a rod, I can buy a reel, I can buy my terminal tackle. I can even buy apparel on there. If I wanted a rain suit, I can buy it right there. I know that y'all shipping, if you order before, what is it, 1 p.m. Central time?
Central, that's right.
Central.
Yeah, 1 p.m. here, same day shipping.
Same day shipping. So if you get your order in before 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, they'll ship it out the same day. You can't ask no better than that on a warehouse, guys.
And if you're pro, there's no minimum. So you spend $12, it's going out free. Gotcha.
So $49 a year. You can get free shipping, get a lot of contour maps, hardness, weather apps, all in the palm of your hand. In the palm of your hand. You don't have to worry about sitting looking at Google Earth. You don't have to worry about coming out to your kayak, plugging up your unit, looking at your contour maps on your lake map card. You can go right there on the app. So,
and maybe one thing I'll add, one difference on the app is there is a quick drop waypoint. So the way you were doing it on the map there on the web, you kind of have to drag it around and put it.
Right.
There's a quick drop, so it will track your blue dot, and then you just drop a waypoint right there, and it just goes in automatically. So it's even easier on the app.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll let me put the hashtag in here. We're going to do hashtag Omnia. How about that?
Love it.
Everybody hashtag Omnia. Let me get my StreamYard tool here, and we will get this thing going. Share my screen here. Everybody hashtag Omnia, OMNIA, OMNIA. And we will get this YAKROD into somebody's hands, because we're going to give everybody a chance to get into the drawing here, Matt. And
love it.
Yeah. And you got anything to add anymore, sir?
No, thanks for the questions and the comments. Appreciate anybody that's already purchased from us. That's fantastic. We're a Midwest company. That's where we got our start. A couple of years ago, we started expanding in some of the other states and bringing in the brands that were relevant in the other states. Always open to ideas for popular brands and products that are in your area. our fastest growing areas are Texas, the New York area, Florida, and the Southeast, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. So appreciate all you do to help us get the word out. Appreciate everybody that's already come in.
Yeah, certainly. So kind of, I'm going to give it a few more minutes. We've got about 10 minutes left in the show. What do y'all see the future for Omnia here in the next, in 2025? What do y'all, I know y'all do a lot of research and development. I know that's kind of kept secret, but what are y'all looking forward to as far as?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of investments that we're making in these layers. There are a lot of different sources of data out there that we have taken the approach of trying to create a very comprehensive set, a lot of different layers. I do think that there's some opportunities to start combining some in layers, like overlaying, I don't know, some good examples, but instead of just giving you the layers, giving you the interpretation of it. And there's some cool things that I think we're going to start doing, both privately for each individual customer. Like as you drop waypoints, it will start to help you understand the distribution of those waypoints and how it's related, charts and things like that. But it's a lot of that just comes with scale. It comes with a lot of customers. It comes with a lot of information where we can start to give people good predictions, go in certain areas. And the amount of information, hundreds of thousands of waypoints have been filed, 100% private. There's a lot of really cool things that we can do with that for the individual consumer once they start using it and hit certain threshold of use. And I'm excited about that prospect. I'm excited about somebody taking their own control of logging information and starting to really build cool patterns, trying new water bodies, going to the water with confidence as often as possible.
Gotcha. So yeah, we'll give it about another minute, let everybody get in here on this drawing, Matt. And like I said earlier, thank you for allowing me to bring you on out your busy day, afternoon, evening, to come on the Maine Contained Fishing Podcast. Give this information out to all the anglers that listen and watch my content. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, man. I've been busy, and we're rocking right along for the end of the year. Next weekend, I travel over to Lake Blackshear and Lake Cordell, Georgia, to fish a championship round.
That's great. Kayak.
So yeah, it's we'll get it going here, and we're fixing to draw, folks. Let's draw this thing out. See who's going to win this rod. Mr. Tim Williams. Tim Williams, you are the winner of the YAKROD. So, Tim, reach out to me by email, Daniel at SEGKBF.com. I know that there's a lot of spammers on here. I'll reach out to you as well, Tim. That way, nobody gets scammed. But thank you once again, Matt, for your time. Everybody, download the free app. Test it out if you ain't already have. Get it rocking and rolling. It is a cool way to log, keep log of your fish that you catch throughout the year. So, but Matt, just hang around for a few more minutes for me. We're going to close out this show, and I'll bring you right back on after the show ends. Okay.
Sounds good.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Maine Contained Fishing Podcast tonight. Great information given out by Matt from Omnia Fishing. Thank you for everybody who was here listening, subscribing. Make sure you go over and like their Instagram, socials, YouTube, especially YouTube. They have a lot of great information on YouTube and their videos that they push out. And as always, we want to say fish on, and always when you're on the water, wear your PFD.